Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lexi and today we will be talking about all the books I read in January and all the books that I hope to read in February. I cannot believe it is the end of January. Where has the beginning of 2023 gone? It has been a massive month for me. I feel like I have just been on the go all the time. I'm definitely not complaining. It has been a fantastic start to the year. It's been really nice to just go out and have some fun, celebrate the new year. A really fun weekend was going out bowling. I literally have not been bowling in years. But yeah, even though I've been out and about, I have been reading a lot, so I've got a lot to share with you guys. I feel like I also have pretty high hopes for February. This is a pretty tough TBR. So let's jump straight into the video and start off with my reads from January. The first book that I finished this year was actually my Christmas read from last year, which was A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This was actually the book that I took with me to Chloe's Bunny meetup. If you guys aren't already following Chloe Bunny here on YouTube, make sure you do. She just always has amazing book recommendations and is such a sweet person as well. At the meetup, I was telling the girls about this book and Caitlin from Kate Literature actually mentioned that she read it and she didn't really love it. This made me kind of nervous to keep reading, but I'm so glad I did because I really enjoyed it. I definitely see where her critiques were coming from. There was a few things in this book that are a little bit on the nose and they're sort of just there to be there, if that makes any sense.
I think it was like what I liked about it was it kind of came like as like a she like is like, oh yeah, this
that
is happening
I want to
right
see
now.
what you just said written on paper.
And it's amazing to have a plus size character in a Christmas novel. I feel like that never happens and it's really nice to see the representation. Moving on to the next book that I finished in January, that was Crown of Coral and Pearl. This is by Mara Rutherford. I actually took this one with me on my cruise. My cruise vlog is actually up on my channel now. If you haven't seen it already, definitely check it out. And oh my god, like I loved this so much. This was an amazing time. When I finished this, I actually filmed a little wrap-up clip, so I'm going to insert that now. I wanted to jump on here to talk about a book that I finished yesterday that I just think was phenomenal. Yesterday I finished Crown of Coral and Pearl by Mara Rutherford and literally instantly I started its sequel. I'm already 40 pages in. And I also have Luminous by the same author to start once I finish that. But yeah, when I came home, I literally devoured this. It was so good. I couldn't put it down. And then we had a lot of internet problems at home, so I ended up having a work day at my local library. I decided to look up and see if they had the sequel because I was about maybe 40 pages from finishing this one. And of course they had that and this, so I came home with them. This is basically a YA fantasy that follows two twins.
Hey, where'd she go? Oh well, let's talk in our secret twin language.
One of whom gets sent away to marry a prince from a faraway kind of land, and that is meant to be like the pinnacle of success to this society, but she finds out that it is definitely not what they expect. There are a lot of twists and turns, and really the last 20 pages kind of just blow up the whole story. And I believe after Luminous, this author has another book. A few elements reminded me of The Cruel Prince and the Folk of the Air series. So I think if you like that, you will like this as well. So definitely these two are on the list for end of January/February. But for now, it is time to start chapter 4 of this one.
2 seconds later.
So I ended up absolutely devouring Kingdom of Sea and Stone straight after, and oh my god, this lived up to every expectation. Everything was covered, everything was answered, and we didn't get let down by the second book, which honestly, that happens way too often. I rated this one a 5 out of 5 star, the same as the first novel. The next book I want to talk about is my audiobook for the month of January. I listened to Beach Read by Emily Henry through my local library app, and oh my god, this was also a really fun romance time. Basically, the premise for this was that you have two writers who end up living next door to each other. They knew each other back in university and they did not get along.
What did you say?
But obviously it's a romance book, so that definitely changes throughout the story. Our main characters both also go through a lot of personal growth, and I think that's something that you need sometimes with the romance books. Sometimes if they're too hallmarky or too cute, it's just boring and it's not a good time.
Captain Crasheroony's snooze fest.
I really enjoyed the narration on this, and I feel like the pacing of the book was pretty good as well. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. It was a really good time. I had a lot of fun. It wasn't really a super memorable story. Now moving on to my current reads. So it is the end of January, but I am still in the middle of one physical book and one audiobook. Last weekend, I actually went to Cinderella the musical at the Sydney Lyric Theatre. My boyfriend and I turned it into a whole day event. We decided to meet up with some friends for lunch, and we went to this really cool Japanese restaurant. It was my first time trying that food. After lunch, we headed for some drinks, and then it was time to meet up with his mum at the theatre. The performance was so well done and it was such a fun time. It was quite different to the original Cinderella story, which I think was a great upgrade. Then we headed home after the performance. In the lead up to that, I asked you guys on my Bookstagram which Cinderella retelling I should start first. Cinderella is Dead was the winner.
I totally put poison in their coffee. Drink, drink.
I am really loving this so far as well. I feel like I am on a streak with these books. I'm not too far into it, but you know, it's very cool so far, very different. The current audiobook that I'm listening to is The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas. I read The Spanish Love Deception last year and I really loved it. And I have heard a lot of mixed things about the sequel, but when I saw it was available on my library app, I thought, who cares? Why not? Let's give it a go.
I actually did it myself. Yeah. Nice.
I'm definitely enjoying it. I feel like it hasn't grasped me in the exact same way as A Spanish Love Deception. I feel like I read maybe the first 2 chapters of that and I was like, wow. They were also like, wow. This book is all over Bookstagram with good and bad reviews, so I'm sure you guys know what it's about. My plans for February, or like the month of love, Valentine's Day month, is to finish those 2 books, but I've also picked 4 other books to get to. Obviously the first book on this list is Luminous by Mara Rutherford, which I mentioned earlier. The next book on my list is a little bit different for me, and that is The Dark Room by Minette Walters. I actually received this from Bookmarks Australia, and when I received it I filmed a little clip, so I'm gonna insert that now. I don't know what video this is going to be a part of, but I had something really exciting happen. The team at Bookmarks Australia reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in unboxing one of their books. If you haven't heard about these guys before, definitely check out their Instagram. Basically, they're a group in Victoria that take secondhand books and rehome them. To make it a little bit more fun, they have a mystery book service where I think it's around $5 and you get a beautifully wrapped book to open. I did an unboxing on my Instagram, so make sure you go check that out. But it came wrapped in this stunning custom wrapping paper. It literally has Book Bounce Bookshop written on this paper. It's adorable. And the book that I opened was The Dark Room by Minette Walters. She has clearly been well loved, well read, the spine is bent, and I'm gonna take that as a really good sign. Part of their message is to inspire people to read books that they don't normally read, and 100% if I saw this on the shelf at a secondhand bookstore, I might not pick it up. It's a psychological thriller that follows the plot of a millionaire who wakes up with amnesia.
Zoinks!
I definitely enjoy my mystery novels, so I'm pretty excited to get to this one. Speaking of February, book bounce would be a perfect Valentine's gift for the bookish person in your life. I remember a few years ago I did the blind date with a book for February, and this could definitely work as the same sort of concept. I will pop up all their information on the screen, so like I said, definitely check them out if you haven't already, and who knows, you might even end up with your new favourite book. The next book that I hope to read in February is Girl Crush by Florence Given. I actually picked this up in January. I went on a little trip to Big W. I would say I've picked this up on a whim, like I haven't read any reviews, I haven't really seen it around, but I absolutely loved Women Don't Owe You Pretty. I did really feel like my mentality and thinking towards certain things changed after reading it, so I'm really excited to see how her writing style changes with this one. This book follows a bisexual woman who lives in a world that is completely taken over by social media. The app is called Wonderland, and I wonder if that means we're getting some elements of like Alice in Wonderland. The final book that I want to read in February is Bridezilla Vs Zombies by Katie Fraser. I just think this would be super cute because of Valentine's Day. Last year I actually did a anti-Valentine's Day TBR. I feel like this would have gone really well for that TBR, which is why I want to read it this year. This book literally follows the title, so a bride is finally at her wedding day and the zombie apocalypse starts.
Oh my god!
I feel like this would be good at any time, but especially around Valentine's Day, I think that will be a really fun read. Those are the books that I've been reading recently and the books that I hope to read in February. Don't forget to like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe to my channel because I will be bringing lots more bookish content soon. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day or night or middle of the day, and I will speak to you guys in the next video. Bye!